Welcome back, everybody, and it's your boy Jay Klein, and we're back again for another episode of Anime Talks. And it's been a while since our last episode, and this one it's actually not going to be as long, only because of how short the substance and how condensed everything was with this show. But it was amazing. I feel like I only do reviews and or episodes on really good animes. So just get ready for it. We're doing this episode on Reincarnated as a Sword, which is pretty interesting for those who have heard the same type of these like type esque names. We're of course going through the journey of another isekai, and so far I've realized that I'm in love with isekais. We have so many isekais coming up that are going to get put into rotation. The next episode will be another isekai, but we'll get there. We're just going to cover this and get straight down to it. So, in Reincarnated as a Sword, we go through the story of seeing a young black cat by the name of Fran, who is pretty much like really the apex character of the show, and it has a very dynamic standpoint later on, and or through the development, I should say. And before we get to that, we actually have someone who with is crazy. So in this isekai, we have the, I guess you can say, the supporting apex character, sort of, which is the sword, which is the guy who died in his past life and got reincarnated as a sword. He went out slaying all these monsters as soon as he got reincarnated and started just killing everything, learning all these skills, becoming really, really like overpowered, pretty much, like learning all these skills, building up his mana, and just taking down everything. And it is crazy. It's kind of funny. It has a lot of like a bunch of comedic jumps here and there, and it is by far amazing. It's really big, and there's a lot of things now. Forgive me. There is like I've watched this like maybe like up to maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I should have probably refreshed a little bit on the character names, but for the most part, we're going to be referencing the sword as teacher, and we'll reference the black cat as Fran, and their adventure on getting to where they need to be is crazy. So along the way, there is the fact that the teacher, which is the sword, is taking out all the monsters and everything, clearing out everything, causing a bunch of chaos, bunch of everything. And it's kind of like reincarnated as a slime, where all the monsters are really trying to take over and try to gain advantage of certain areas, because this sword is going out and just slashing all of like the big baddies that are everywhere. So it's just pretty much like indirectly causing a ruckus and causing problems and causing these dungeons and bigger hordes of enemies to spawn due to those actions that, of course, the sword didn't know this at the time, but the sword comes across a slave caravan where there's this black cat that is on it that's being sold. And in this story, which is kind of crazy and ironic, black cats are looked at as the slaves and or the thralls or peasants of this world, of the world building development. They're lesser than any of the creatures in the world of this story. So what ends up happening is there's like a little bit of a breakout, and then Fran, which is the little I'll just say baby black cat, the little black cat, ends up picking up that sword and taking down the caravan. And once that happens, we end up seeing the sword and Fran creating a bond. And what's kind of crazy between the two, the sword is pretty much the indirect guardian and is able to build up all kinds of like relations and a bunch of a bonding with Fran. And of course, we learn through Fran that she's being a souled child who lost both of her parents, and her parents were also killed. So it's pretty big, it's pretty emotional, it has a lot of things going on. And then the adventure of Sword and Fran builds to an even bigger hype when they have to, of course, survive. So they're going on these types of Hunters Guild quest, and of course, this sword is overpowered and was able to like take down a bunch of different monsters and baddies before Fran was able to get a hold. And this sword is able to transfer all of his skills to Fran. So pretty much Fran has like the cheat code to life until they reach a certain point in the story where Fran has to really develop her own technique and her own type of skills to be able to make it without the sword. And that is what we see, of course, throughout the course of the show, where Fran is heavily dependent on the teacher. But Fran also wants to be the first of all the black cats to evolve and be even better and then we learn that a type of evolution chain within the black cat spectrum, that there's an even higher tier of, there's Fran, and then like being just a regular black cat, and then there's an even bigger hype. And what's crazy is this leads to so many different things when it comes down to the show, because it's only one season as of right now, and it's pretty interesting. It makes you really, really get down to the nitty gritty of like a lot of things. There's so many characters. The cast really isn't big, but it's great. It's great. Like it's really, really amazing on how they deliver the story. And it's just not your standard isekai. It's a lot bigger. It's on a grand scale where you have, it's your standard isekai as far as like somebody dies and gets reincarnated and lives a life of just huge, like a pretty apex character that can take care of anything. But it's a little different because this is a sword, an inanimate object that has to be used to take down things. Now, of course, the sword can't just go away and just do whatever and just be overpowered. But the sword, and what I like about it is that they change the dynamic with how the sword is pretty much can go do anything. Can do anything. But it is embarking on this adventure with this black cat that is freed from slavery, that wants to grow, that wants to become better, wants to make her parents proud and grow to be even better than what she was, and to show that the black cat tribe are worthy of being respected and loved. That is impactful from just an anime. From just an anime, that is the message that is there, and it's amazing. It's amazing because you see so many different elements of real life get thrown into this. You have the slavery, you have the nasty slurs and prejudices that is thrown towards Fran, and Fran overcomes it, of course, with the help of the sword, but also her skills develop. She's able to be an apex character herself, to grow and be able to overcome so many things and show that I'm a little bit more than what the sword has to offer. And that's amazing. And sadly, it is only one season. You will get through this show really quickly. The pace, I feel like it's one of those. If you've watched the free run show, it's kind of like that pacing. Like you'll have some really cool fight scenes here and there, but the world building is on a whole different scale. If you think of it as a boots on the ground type of show, it is down to earth, very real, and is worth watching. I do recommend 10 out of 10 to watch this, mainly because you will enjoy the fight sequences, the fight scenes, and stuff like that. But it has, of course, the comedic banner that's going on between Fran and the sword, and of course other characters. There's a lot of different elements that are moving and flowing all within the show to create what it is, and it just has a lot of real life scenarios from history just alone enveloped in such an impactful meaning. And of course, what's just so crazy is just Fran's just a little kid, pretty much, just a little kid, and is going through all these things. It's just it's impeccable by what this studio put out with giving us such a good thing. And of course, there's a couple things that is missing, like the person who died and became the sword. We don't know much from his past life. We just know he's a sentient sword. I mean, there's like nasty little plot holes and stuff that you could pick apart. But if you watch it for the big grand scheme of things, is very quick. It's short. It's nice. I don't know if it's up for renewal for season 2, but it's beautiful. I might go check out the manga and see if there's some stuff. If I can, I think there's a light novel series on that. I might go check it out and drop another episode just on maybe a season 2 or volume 2, whatever I have to release to be able to get more of what's going on in this story. It's really good. I'm hoping that I'm able to watch this versus having to read it, but it's good. The way it ended and the way things have gone. Spoiler alert, what's kind of crazy is towards there's one part where there is this lady who's like an Eshric adventurer that just demolishes and kicks butt everywhere. Well, come to find out, this S rank adventurer is like pretty powerful and can like kick anybody's butt. But she is also the she's also over the orphanage of the area. Now, what's crazy is our friend here is technically an orphan, or was orphaned due to her parents being killed. But this teacher, or this orphanage runner, this S rank adventurer, the link is crazy. You have to watch it. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. That S rank adventurer was also the one who taught Fran's parents how to fight and raised them, because Fran's parents were orphans, which is crazy. Biggest development like plot ever. It was a crazy plot twist that happened at such a good time in the show. It made it to where it brought its pacing to somewhere different. It just warmed your heart when you're able to see that and make a like nice little connection. And of course, I'm not going to go too far on it. It was amazing. I loved every last bit of it. I think that it is worth giving a good look at such a beautiful show. I don't even know what more to say other than just watch it. Don't waste any time. It is by far worth every last bit of your dime. Whether you watch it on, I think I watched it on Crunchyroll. It's either Crunchyroll or Hulu. I watched it on one of them. It doesn't matter. Go watch it. Come back, and listen back to this again, and you will see the connection that this has with just so many things. There's so many relatable things about not giving up, to overcome all your obstacles, no matter what they are, and you will just grow and be amazing, amazing, just amazing. It's just on a big grand scale that you can't pass it up. So I'm going to wrap this up. That's all that I have for you. That, like I said, the show's only one season. It is worth watching though, and we will continue with another isekai on the next one. I'm trying to get it done, and we will kind of tackle other things. I ended up finishing Black Clover maybe a few weeks ago, and I don't know if a Black Clover podcast will come yet. I don't know if I'm going to break it down into arcs. It is comprised of 170 episodes, so there's no telling how that's going to get broken down. And then there is still the Hunter finishing up and wrapping that up. But for this, I guess it's nice to give like a nice little milestone. We are over 800 listeners right now for the podcast, and it is great. I enjoy it. It makes me happy to know that we're being heard, and the that the subject matter is growing, and that people actually listen to this and either go watch it or just stay tuned for another review. However you handle it, I have multiple people that reach out and tell me, I don't go watch the anime because you pretty much cover most of it, and gets me excited listening. And if I don't really have time to watch it, or hey man, you pushed me to want to go watch it and take a break from everything else I'm watching. So I thank y'all so much for listening. I thank y'all so much for the growth and where we have gotten today. And I try my best to move away from the once a month drops. I'm so sorry. Life is just lifing, just between everything, being a dad, full-time worker, and all that. You can only release what you can. And of course, I am on YouTube with Ethereal Restart. There's a lot going on, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm always able to release stuff just for y'all. So please stay tuned. There is more to come. I'm still watching a bunch of anime, and we will be releasing more content. So thank you so much. Y'all stay blessed, and may the anime go on. Thank you. Take care.